What's up, everybody? This is the Bates International Group. I'm Ebony.
Hey, I'm Mohammed.
Hey, what's up? This is Marty.
All right, so we're here with the big market update. So every week we're coming to you with new information as we're seeing it on the ground out there selling real estate each day. And I would say that for me, and by the way, this is not rehearsed. We don't know what each other is going to say. But for me, in my experience, the market's got some schizo action going on right now. It's definitely a market where there's some freakonomics going on, where you have a major inventory problem where there's literally no inventory, yet at the same time, you've got buyers that have no place to put their offers because there's literally no inventory. So when you look at it from the grand scheme of things, on a macro level, it looks pretty ugly, right? You have lower numbers in inventory, and Mohammed can speak more to how low the inventory is. I think last we checked, it was about a third of what it was this time last year.
Absolutely. Somewhere between a third and a quarter, yeah.
If you can imagine that. So 75% of the homes that should be there aren't there, yet you've got all the buyers. So what this
all
means,
the buyer demand is pent up.
Strong seller's market. If you're a seller and you've got the thought, don't be wary. Ride this wave. There's definitely a wave, especially in our area. And when we get to the roundtable, we'll talk to other agents who are in other locations to see how far and wide this trend actually is. But in the DC metro area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, strong seller's market, even though there's pretty much no inventory, and that's what's leading it. What do you guys, what's your take on things?
Yeah, no, I'm actually in full agreement with you. I've got my clients prepared to do pre-inspections. We had, buyer tour this weekend with some clients that actually got canceled. One of the property showings was canceled, and we showed up and there was no one there to buy. The sellers were actually in the house, and what had taken place was the sellers had received an offer, multiple offers, and opted to take one of the offers prior to the open house and did not notify us. So we showed up expecting to see the house. The house had only been on the market for 2.5 days. Now I gave the selling agent, the listing agent, an earful because it's unprofessional not to notify us properly. But that's the market that we're in. We have to be prepared to move very quickly. You have to be prepared to be flexible with contingencies, and come in prepared to make an offer, kind of know your numbers so that you can be competitive. Prior to that, the last house I worked with these clients on had roughly a half dozen offers, and they ended up tapping out. When I say a half dozen, that was a half dozen and growing. And they just did not want to go up that high. I had another client before we got under contract last weekend. The property that they put an offer in on had 14 offers. So this is a highly, highly, highly aggressive market right now. Seller's market all the way. So if you're on the sell side, like Ebony said, take full advantage. Properties are selling fast. They're selling within days, and they're selling in some cases 10% over market value or higher. Just be aware that you may, depending on where you are, have an appraisal issue. So, select the best offer possible, the best structured offer possible. But no, there is a lot to be said about this being a very, very strong seller's market.
Yeah, we've, here just in the market, in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, we've seen where, to your point, sellers are taking advantage. We've seen where, sellers aren't disclosing, they're disclaiming. So, they're not giving you kind of granular information about the property and its condition. So that's very telling. In addition, we've seen where Sellers are saying, hey, if you have an appraisal contingency and you're, banking on a property to appraise based on what you're coming in as far as an offer price, they're basically saying good luck. It's not going to appraise for that. So if you want it, you got to be ready to go for it. So it's a huge challenge. And yeah, if you're in the seller's seat, you're really driving, and you're driving fast.
Pedal to the metal, right? If you're a seller, pedal to the metal. And they have a saying for that, buyers in Virginia, and that is buyer beware.
Yeah, Tour.
So, the message to the realtors who are listening, be realistic about who is in, the passenger seat. Whenever you're trying to drive these offers home, realize what the competition is, be realistic, tell your clients, and prepare. So that's our update for this week. Does anybody have anything to add before we jump out of here?
No, just, like COVID is still a factor, is influencing the market. There's deals to be made. There are opportunities. Take advantage of the opportunities where you can. Interest rates are still at historic low levels. Don't look at this as I'm not going to be able to buy a house because of the competition. It balances out when you look at the interest rate versus the sales price. This is a great time to buy a home, to be able to get into a new place with an interest rate as low as, in some cases, 2.75%. So take advantage on both sides.
This weekend, it was at 2.3. Can you believe it? It's crazy.
Wow.
With free money. So,
wow.
So, yeah,
that's amazing.
Take advantage of it if you're a buyer, but also at the same time, get out your battle axe and make sure it's sharp.
Get your strategies together.
All right, y'all. So then we'll see you next week with another market update. This is the Bates International Group. We'll check you later.
All right. Have a good one.